All right, what is up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fantastic Thursday morning? I'm going to take a look at some Bitcoin, a little bit of Forex, and some other indices. We're going to see if we can't find something to trade this morning. First things first, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. This is the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you all become better traders. So Bitcoin's seeing a little bit of weakness coming on yesterday and Tuesday when we were live. We were talking about if you were looking for short entries, and the best place to look for those entries would have been daily resistance, which was right there. And as you can see, yesterday morning, Bitcoin traded right up to that, and that is or was the absolute best entry to take a short trade if you were short biased. Right there you go. Beautiful test, came in here, found a low. Where did we find a low? We found a low at weekly support. So let's go out here to the weekly support and let's get rid of this real quick. Put this up here so you can see what we're bouncing off of and why we're bouncing there. Right there. Now, to be honest with you, I am still bullish, but that bullishness is fading, at least for intraday trades. For my long-term bias, I am still bullish. I will always be bullish on Bitcoin on the long term, but we are day traders here on this channel, so what we must do is we must operate with inside of the weekly and daily ranges, and right now it is showing weakness. This is the weekly support. If this was going to be the place to be the buy, you'd think you would get a much larger bounce than we have gotten. This was yesterday evening that it tagged there. That's 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see it was tagged to perfection. So if you were looking for long entries, that was the only place to look yesterday for them. And you did get a bounce, and you're probably still sitting in that position. But here is the thing. In the near term, this looks extremely weak. We've been struggling to break out, and you've attempted to break out multiple times, right? First there, second there, third here. And this one lasted for a period of 4 days. You can see that you have 4 tests of that resistance, and it has rejected. So it does look like you're forming a bit of a distribution formation here with the insignificant highs. Every time you liquidate a swing high, you shouldn't be pulling back. If you are strong, you should be getting that and going, right? You should be liquidating those people and then going higher, but you're not. So the market's telling you something, right? This is the weekly low right there. So let's go ahead and mark that, and you can see just how close you are to it. I am not specifically thinking that you should be looking for a short today. However, if you must take a trade, there's 2 places you can watch. One would be right there, that is old resistance, or you can look for the lower portion, which would have been support. You broke down below it yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Yesterday was the day where you tested resistance and you came off. The reason my bias is changing from near-term bullish to bearish is this, right there. If you're going to be bullish, then you would want to see this thing continue to move higher. Is it possible that you close the daily under it and then go back to the upside? Of course, this is trading. Everything is possible. Here was a breakdown right there, and you closed below it again, but you came into a support there at the FOMC and then got a massive push higher, and then it just faded. It stalled out, and you can't get anything going. Going over here to the RSI, you can see that you also, while tagging weekly support, you also came into the daily 50 on the RSI. As long as you're above that, you can still kind of sort of look for bullish entries. But if you get below that, it's going to look a lot like the bears are in control. But there is traps. Traps do exist. This was a bearish trap right here. So you could get another one there. But we've been looking at this for the last several days, the last couple weeks, saying that if Bitcoin doesn't start to get out of this area right here, we're going to start looking for shorts. There is an interesting comment over here real quick. I want to read that. I seen it before I got live. And they said, let me guess, short like the rest of the herd. You're funny. You're funny if you think what we do over here is follow the herd. No, we don't short like the rest of the herd. But if you did want to take a short position, I do have people inside of my Discord that took the most spectacular of entries that you would ever see in this move, right? So what we do over here is legit. We are not herd traders. But Mr. Jimenez himself sold the weekly high. Boom, that was his first entry right there around that red line. And then he sold there again. So took profits, waited for resistance, got short again. Boom. So I wouldn't call that herd mentality. I would call that sniper mentality. So yeah, if you want to be short, the chart is showing you that it is a legit side to be on. As of right now, the buyers can't get anything going. If you go over here and look, open interest has been skyrocketing and staying in this region throughout the entire time that this thing rolled over. And we basically said, when your open interest starts to get high like that, then it could suggest a turning point in the market. If you're going lower and your open interest starts to climb, it's a suggestion of a turning point to the upside. But when the market's climbing and your open interest is getting high and like topping out, then yes, you can look for a turning point, and turning means going back to the downside. Here's your put to call ratio. You can see that people are not buying puts. Now, when I say people, I don't mean retail, I mean big investors. They are not buying puts, so obviously they are not concerned with this move to the downside or, the upside move. If they was thinking that we were going to be revisiting lows, this is your price chart. The white line is the price. So right here is that swing high. You can see that you did get a little stab to the upside of puts at the highs. And maybe tomorrow we get new data. Maybe it goes up. So maybe, people are starting to buy them, but not en masse. Not like we've seen over here, right? So yeah, it's not showing any signs of strength, but it isn't showing any massive signs of weakness either. These are very small range candles. They look big, but if you go over here, when, we were a little more volatile, you can see the size of these babies, right? Look at this one here. $30,000 down to $25,000. That is a $5,000 candle right there. $5,000. Yesterday's big bearish candle was what? 24,431 down to 23,501. So not even $1,000. All right, not even $1,000. Tiny ranges we got going on here, which is normal when you're slow, sideways, and choppy. People lose interest, and that's what we're seeing. So we're going to continue to trade it as the way it is trading, which is range bound. All right, so also something else that comes in line there would be your 50% retracement of yesterday's range. If I come over here and do something like that, yeah, it's a fantastic little spot. You got your 618 retracement setting right there, and it is old resistance. You can see right there, $23,963. It will be above yesterday's open. I do not see us getting this high today. Since yesterday was a decent move, you could see this just be sideways for the rest of the day. Maybe stopping out people from on both sides of the market. So basically what that would look like is you got a swing high right here. That's where liquidity is setting. And then your next area of liquidity is obviously setting down here at the weekly level right there. So basically while you're sitting down here sideways, not doing anything as far as a daily range today, you could see a stop run above that. You could also see a stop run below that and still trade inside of both of them. We are not getting much of anything in the way of trending continuation. So basically what we're getting is we're getting sharp spikes in one way or the other. Then we trade sideways, another sharp spike, sideways. So today could look like this all day long. We had the minutes yesterday, which caused a little bit of volatility. Nothing major, because basically it was a non-event. Really, a non-event. So this is your minutes candle there. Nice little spike to the upside, and then it was faded right back down to the open. And then, you got a lower push. So far, liquidity on the SPX, 4302, and then down there on the lows, 4252. So how do you trade this? Well, it's probably looking like it wants to get a little bit more downside. This thing has been roasting faces off to the upside. You can see here on the daily, you are well into overbought territory. Typically, we start to look for pullbacks when you get into overbought territory, not necessarily looking for a market crash or a new low, just a pullback. Even yesterday's range was very, very small. If you look at the size of the bullish candles, once you broke out here, this was weekly resistance. We were watching it last week. We finally got the breakout. There's your bullish continuation. So looking for this to be a bear, a bull trap isn't happening. You made a fresh weekly high today. Not today, sorry. You made a fresh weekly high, and then you've pulled back off of that high, but you're still trading above last week's range. You're still trading above last week's high. If this was going to be a bull trap, you would think that we would probably be trading somewhere down in here. And if that was the case, then we were going to watch for price to pull back, and then we were going to short it and look for that lower edge of support, or even back down to 39.12. We're not looking for fresh lows. We're just looking for the market to pull back a little bit, and then we'll see where it finds support. And Bitcoin is trading a lot more aggressive than the S&P 500. So yesterday was the first time you've seen a down day on S&P 500. Bitcoin's been going down since August 14th. All right. So yeah, not a whole lot to do as far as, getting long. Not right now, not when it looks like the market is indeed rolling over. We just got to see where it wants to find a top. I mean, you can clearly see that these highs are so insignificant when they're made. You're looking for a pullback and then a run, the breakout. You didn't get it. I mean, it's very choppy, sideways, slow trading. But right now it does look like the market participants are looking for lower prices. Here is addresses with $10,000. This is just basically something to show us that we got a lot more outflows than we do inflows. This was the last time you've seen any significant inflows. But we were looking for that one final capitulation. That move lower was there. And then look at the amount of outflows that transpired on those lows. And then here you are right through here. Well, let's just do it like this. Let's get it all in there. So this is your price as you had the massive capitulation there, all that outflow. Price is slowly trending to the upside. And then as we start to get to the peak, you can see the outflows start to peak again. So there are a few technical indicators that are showing us that the market is very weak, and we should probably be looking to sell resistance until we find an area where market participants start to put in those bids again. Right now we don't have it. So, yep, looking for shorts more than likely. As long as you're trading, as far as my strategy goes, the way I look at the markets, the way I approach it, is as long as you're closing dailies below the 21 exponential moving average, you may look for shorts, with the caveat that traps exist, right? But in order to confirm a trap, you must take out the swing high. So in order for this to be a bear trap, Bitcoin would have to get all the way back up to daily resistance at 24.5. And I just don't see that happening today or tomorrow, right? So yeah, you look for shorts. And that's just as simple as I can put it. If you don't want to short it, don't, right? Set and draw down. I'm fine with that too. But we will take trades in the direction the market is going, as we are traders. So yeah, essentially, I'm not even worried about liquidations at this point. We had a decent bit of long liquidations yesterday. Let me go over here to the long liquidations. The internet is jacked up a little bit this morning, so just bear with me. This down move yesterday that Mr. Jimenez himself was riding like a champ. You can see that you did get a double spike of long liquidations, which is to be expected, right? People are always buying the top of the market. I've been telling you guys since we were over here that, be careful buying it, but also, I don't necessarily want to short it either. I want to see the market show me a directional push one way or the other. You don't want to buy it when you're at the top of your expected range high. And then we said that there was so much more potential for a move lower than there was for the up move higher. And we've gotten that, right? It's just not really giving us anywhere to enter, except if you would have done it the way Mr. Jimenez did. Take that entry at the weekly high to the downside. And then we were prepared for this move. I myself did not participate because my limit order, this happened during the London session, and I am snuggled firmly inside of my blankets at that time of the day, asleep. So I had a limit sell setting at this resistance, and it was different on Bitget. So it literally missed my entry by $2. $2. That would have triggered me into the sell, and I would have wrote it down with the rest of them. But I missed it. So now I have to bide my time and wait for that area that I'm watching for potential short entries. And it's going to be roughly about there. All right. If we get up there and we start to struggle intraday, then I will be looking for a short position. Correctamundo. Because we're under the 21. And that's all I need in order to change my near-term bias. But my long-term bias is still bullish. It is still bullish as it can be. All right. So I'm going to drop some fib channels here just to see like where are we currently in the midst of this structure. If I pull out to an 8-hour time frame, you're going to see that, you know, this isn't the best indicator in the world, but it does give you trend lines, and you can see that occasionally those trend lines are respected. You can see here that it respected it beautifully, and that's the top, but we already knew that trend line was up there. But you can kind of see that you've broken down here and you're kind of like in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, if the structure is going to change, if we're going to be rolling over, then we're going to be, you know, this is not really good. I don't like it. It's a little bit, you know, too parabolic to the downside. But you can see that there is quite a bit of confluence coming in right here in the $23,000 or $24,000 region. So that's probably where I'm going to be looking to take a short entry. But first I need to see that resistance. Clearly the trend is still up, right? Still up. So I'm not excruciatingly bearish. It's not an obvious bearish signal, but it is a good bearish signal. It's about as good as you can get. So we're definitely looking for shorts. Yeah. If you want to be long, I mean, weekly support was just tested yesterday. And that's it. You don't have anywhere else to look for positions, do you? I guess one could look down here. If you get back down there, maybe this is a good place to look for longs. But at that point, if you were to get down there, you're going to have taken out that, and it's going to make that look like a bull trap. And it is possible for Bitcoin to get down there before Sunday. We've seen this thing drop massive before. Just look at that one. This had a lot to do with Luna, so you know, that is what it is. It was an outlier, but there's not much strength in these bullish weekly candles. And if you go to the monthly, it looks even worse. I mean, look at the size of the last 2 months' ranges. 2 months. I think that's a new word I just invented myself here on my birthday. 2 months. Look at these terrible monthly candles. You're not getting anything. Today is the 18th of August. That means you are more than halfway through your monthly range, and you got nothing. Literally nothing. You put in a fresh high and rolled over. The dollar's done the same thing as well. You put in a fresh August high, and it seems to be finding a little bit of resistance. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that's showing us that we're looking for shorts. Not really many things showing us that we're looking for bullish entries at all. But, like I said, you can watch your monthly open, which we did tag already yesterday. When we pushed lower. So there's your monthly open and weekly support. That's the only reason you're getting a bounce. That's literally it. The only reason. So, yeah, looking for about $24,000. You also have intraday resistance right up in that region as well. I don't think it's going to get up there today, though. If it does, then we'll look for short entries right around there. As far as that goes, let's go look at some Forex real quick. Not that one. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, there we go. USD JPY, I was kind of watching it. It does look like it's got a double top going on there on the intraday. But I was watching the open, and you can see last hour we pushed right through it and had a very weak close. And you're going ahead and you're moving lower. So that's dollar pullback as well as yen strength. But it's not super strong today. It's just, you know, up. About is all you could say. It's up 0.15%, which is nothing in the land of Forex. So, you know, this could still roll over. You can see how it's been trading very, very choppy, very aggressive moves in both directions, to the upside, to the downside. Coming in after we set in these long-term, long-term fresh lows, like 15 years or so. So yeah, you pulled back. This was a news event. You can see that's all been essentially retraced. And it does look like it's trying to find some kind of support here. But still, looking at it compared to yesterday, really doesn't look that great either, right? So at any moment, this thing looks like it's probably going to try to roll over. Not really a level to go by, but you do have the previous day's low right there, kind of holding up price a bit for now. That is also the highest closing candle that's to the upside there. So getting above that and then maybe rolling over would be potential, but the long that I was looking to take on USD JPY is no longer valid. So let's go to Euro USD. Looking for this to potentially stop moving to the upside eventually, as the dollar has made fresh monthly highs. We'd like to see that continue. If it does, then we could see Euro roll over a little bit here. Euro looks a little bit like Bitcoin in the fact that you have a swing low down here, and you've not been able to do much to the upside. Each time you do get a high or create a new swing high, you don't get any bullish continuation. In fact, it just trades sideways for many days and rolls back over. Same thing here, liquidated the swing high, but what'd you do? You immediately pulled back, and then once again here, new fresh swing high, new monthly high, straight to the downside. Very choppy, very difficult trading this week. So what is good? Smash through low support line as well. Yeah, we were looking for it to basically hold at weekly demand, and it did not. It pushed right on down to weekly support. So it just kept making fresh low after fresh low yesterday. So trying to long that is impossible damn near it, because at any point you would have been trying to get long at what you thought would have been the bottom, and then you came right back down and stopped everybody out again. And then since then, tagging weekly support, you've literally went nowhere, just sideways. That's not much of a movement to the upside. SPX looks like it's trying to roll back over today. Right now, there you go. So you came into this resistance level right there. I believe it's 4 hour. Yeah, it's just old 4 hour support. But you can clearly see intraday resistance would be there. Traded up, getting a rejection. So now the price to watch on SPX is going to be right there, 42.82. So if we get a retest of 42.82, then we'll look for potential short entries there. But before that happens, I want to see this candle's low taken out, right? Because if it doesn't, then it looks like a support hold as well, right? So we got to get that push lower. We got to take out this candle's close and low, as that could be, that would be a bearish engulfing. And then we could look for another retest of 42.82. Still a little bit early. We got, an hour before the New York stock market opens. So we are currently looking for a trade. Just not a whole lot going on today, which, is sad. Let me pull up Bitget over on this other screen. Let me see what we got going on, if we got any really big bullish things today. Yesterday, EOS was up almost 20% at one point in the day. Looks like KNC is up 10%. Let's go look at KNC. Yeah, getting a little bit of a spike there. Not getting much going either. Just trading sideways. Looks a lot like Bitcoin. Just trying to get that on the low. Up about 55% from the lows. Had a bullish engulfing yesterday, and then it tested support, and you're getting more continuation. So I don't know why this thing would be bullish when everything else is bearish. But be that as it may, not really any resistance to speak of either because you've already broken above it. So I don't think I would be looking to short this. Yeah, I mean, it looks excruciatingly bullish. Tried to move lower. And then here's your London session. So, yep, you're pushing higher. You do have an hourly resistance up there. That's kind of what you're rejecting from currently, but I don't trust it. You know what I mean? I don't think I would be wanting to short it. Let me see. We got anything else up big? Ape USDT's up 5%. We got Flow USDT's up 8%. Let's go look at it. Because we want to trade, baby. Alright, so it's just got a big spike today. The chart looks like disgusting. Looks like you just ran into the open and got a bounce. Last week's open. Let's see what this looks like on the daily. Got a bullish engulfing today. Yep, you got a bullish engulfing. You took out the low. Let me see what's the low on this candle. 253.2, 253.3. Yeah. What's up, Michael? Thank you so much, my friend, for the super chat. Biro on me. Happy B-Day. Thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. We'll take that. Yeah, it's got a bullish engulfing, so I mean, doesn't look much like a short either. Really big spike to the upside, but we can't buy it either when it's up 10%, can we? So it's like a no-go. Let me see. We will find something. We will find something. I am looking hard. Adam up 5%. Michael Marcy gifted one Trade Talk membership. Thank you so much, my friend, for that. What was I just talking about? I lost it. Adam. It is up 5% on the day. Same thing. A lot of things looking like they got a big bounce, whereas Bitcoin hasn't, right? Bitcoin's up a little bit. Ethereum's up 1.65%. So starting to get that bounce. Ethereum has been leading the way, no matter what. If it's been going down, Ethereum has been lower. If it's been going up, Ethereum's been higher. It's leading the way. And you can see that you are starting to get a little bit of a spike there. Here's the dollar. So we made a fresh August high, 16th. Yesterday we traded up to it and then rolled over. And then now today you've made a new fresh August high. But same scenario, right? Not much continuation coming out of any of these markets. But the dollar is bullish again. It broke down and now it's trying to break back out again. This looked really good for downside continuation. For upside continuation on Bitcoin. Because, if the dollar is getting weaker, then Bitcoin could strengthen up. But this whole time that the dollar did have the pullback, Bitcoin just could not get anything going at all. So it's just not a lot of people are, I guess, interested in Bitcoin right now. Which, these are the times to be a buyer, typically. Not at the top of the range, but, where we currently are down in here. I'd be buying that again if it gets back down there. Not bad. Let me see. Any other big movers? Because if you see a big mover, let me know. Because Bitget doesn't have all of the altcoins on it. But altcoins have been leading. A lot of them. So if we go look at EOS, for instance, that thing was extra bullish yesterday. Let me pull up EOS. It's pulling back, but that was a big spike to the upside. It has almost been completely retraced. So we were looking at this yesterday for a potential short, but it was up so big and it didn't, I guess it did. So this is where we were when we were looking at it. I guess it did come back up and test resistance. That would have been a decent short entry. It was already off so much because of that wick, right? That wick to down there is a big move. Well, once you've already had a 15% move to the downside, it's a little bit difficult to look for new shorts. But it has continued to roll over. We did take the trade on Doge Tuesday when we were live here on... when we were live here on YouTube. We took a short trade on this. I ended up getting stopped out because when I did get short, we waited for the liquidity run, which got it right there. I basically had taken the short entry right below the previous high of day when it fell back down. So once we had this push, this impulse move to the downside, I took profits and I moved my stop to break even. And then later on, or the next day in the morning during the London session, we had this wick up. That ended up stopping me out of the trade. So I did take a short on it. It was a successful trade, but it didn't turn into a swing trade because of that wick right there. That is a rogue random market violence wick. Bitcoin looks like it's stalling out. So Bitcoin's stalling out at resistance. I mean, it's probably not even going to be strong enough to get up there where we are looking for potential short entries. So I guess if you're watching us right now and you're looking for a trade on Bitcoin right now, you could potentially look for bearish entries at 23,538, and you're only targeting 23,276 as that is intraday support. Obviously, we always aim for the low. If we do get short on an asset, we aim for the low of day. It's not that it's too far away or anything like that. This is a very small range. It's just simply that's the weekly support. And weekly support levels are decent places for people to stack up buy orders. But it does look like you're taking on a little bit of weakness here. And the dollar is currently up on the day. Look at that. So Euro USD short. Looking like it's going to work out. Perfect. Beautiful. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set a... Well, dang it. I'm not even prepared. Bear with me briefly. Let me pull up the charts again. Over here. Load up my broker. All right, beautiful. There we go. This is what we want. All right, Bitcoin going right back up to resistance. So this would be the short side entry if you were looking for entries. An hourly close above this level right here, guys, means no go. But let's get back over to the euro and set up this trade. We're going to take something like this. If we get it test back up, it's not likely that we will. One could potentially take an entry there. Let's see if we can line that up as an entry. We would want this to be a 2-to-1 at least. And it is 2.5 to 1. But that's only if you get your stop up above this candle, not the one you just made. That would have been the best entry up there, obviously. But looking at other things, it makes it difficult. So we're going to move it over because we're not in it yet. Whoop, never mind. That is not coming back. All right, so Bitcoin, short entry. See if it comes back. That's a pretty big trade. 3.4 to 1. Euro's already done. It already almost hit targets just then. And Bitcoin's lagging that move, so it might give an entry. Let me get over here on the broker side of things. Let's do it over on this one. I'm going to line this short up over here on the perpetual swap contract. Let me get on the hourly so I can look at the same thing. All right, so on Bitget, that resistance is a bit higher at 23,533, spot 50. So we'll sell limit 23,533. Of course, we want 100% of that position. All right, there we go. 23,533. We got a sell order in. Stop will be the this current high, or an hourly close above 23,538. Because if this current candle's closure is coming up in 15 minutes, if it closes above this, that scraps the trade. But looking at Euro, I mean, it looks pretty decent. Pound is setting up to do about the same. That would have been the close of day yesterday. So these tests of that fib does not count, obviously, because that's the low. So I'm taking the fib from yesterday's swing high to yesterday's swing low. I was looking for a retest of that because the hourly right there, this one closed above all the resistance levels that I would have particularly liked to take the short entry. And I had a long bias on it until USD JPY broke down, right? That right there was basically what messed everything up. But you can see that it's currently green on the day, but it didn't give an opportunity, right? Did not give one. We had a bullish bias on it, but this candle broke down below the open and below the current support that we were watching. Not that one. That's the one I meant to take off because this is the open of the day. So you're currently back above your open. So whatever, it's dollar strength kicking up there. Bringing us in there. So let's pull this out here to this screen. We don't really care about that, so let's get Bitcoin up there. Let's get volume gone. All right. SPX is back to red on the day. Right there would be your daily supply on that. Didn't quite get there. Let's give this one to ETH. So Ethereum essentially tested yesterday's open, and that's where he's finding resistance, or it's finding resistance. Beautiful liquidation of the swing high right there. This swing high into yesterday's open. That's where you're finding a tad bit of resistance. And then what do we want over here? Euro. All right. Mr. Yon says, happy birthday. Today I'm going to the restaurant to celebrate my wife's birthday, and now I find that it is your birthday as well. My wife is also a big smoker. Maybe the 18th has something to do with that. That's what I'll blame it on. Instead of bad decisions, I'll just blame it on the day of the month that it happens to be. ETH has a big wick. Well, it's not super big just yet. It's definitely acting like it wants to roll over a little bit. Give me 1 second. Bitcoin spiking back to the upside there. So we watch the close. Watch the close. Don't get too in a hurry. But that would be potentially your entry at the same time. So you have to decide if you want to be risky or not. But that did come right up there and trigger us. So we still got 11 minutes on this close. Still got tons of time to go before you have the open as well for New York. Oh, I see. You must have meant on the 5-minute time frame, big wick. I guess at one point in time that would have been a nasty wick. Yeah. Thank you all for the happy birthdays. I appreciate it. I'm not trading gold, but what are your thoughts on TNX XAU? Let's go look at it while Bitcoin's just doing its thing. Gold was really weak there for a little bit. And then with dollar strength that we've had, you know, it did get a little spike or a little jump back to the upside. Let's get rid of all of that. I don't know why that's there, but so if you look here, this is the weekly time frame. You can see the monstrosity of a range that you have here. That was the weekly support that we were watching for a pullback on gold. We traded into it a couple weeks ago. Got a 4-week bounce. Now you're not quite an engulfing on the weekly because you didn't take out last week's high, but you did take out last week's low. So this does start to look a little trappy. So there's really nothing for us to do as far as taking trades on it today. What we can see, so right there is going to be weekly supply. Bitcoin back up to the entry again. Ethereum looks like it's trying to push. But gold looks like a short. It's traded against the dollar. All right, so the internet is being jacked up. I haven't the slightest clue why. Let me move it. Maybe that'll help it. Doesn't look like that fixed it, so it might drop. If it does, I apologize in advance. Bitcoin is still testing that. Back to gold, it does look like it's rolling over today. So just the pullback day is all it was. You broke down below support here, up to the 618 retracement, more than likely, and that's where it looks like it's finding resistance. Not quite, but it's in between there. So Bitcoin is pushing up. Looks like it's wanting to make that run, make a new high. So just give it a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. Internet is just dead. Yeah, if it stays like that, then it'll kick me. Let me see if I can fix something here. Son of a bitch. Alright. There's nothing I can do, it appears. I can't remember what I changed last time. Where is this at? Trying to slow down the bit rate if I can. Is that all right? We'll keep going until it drops. We're currently watching Bitcoin for to see if it closes. You got 5 minutes on this closure. If it does close above 23,538, we're probably going to leave it alone. Whereas gold and everything else seems to be rolling over. Dollar got a little bit of strength. So this push up, since we know the dollar is pushing up. Oh, it's coming back down. That's just on a 5 minute. We got support here. And then Ethereum pushing right back up into resistance. But it's just intraday resistance. So it's nothing big. What's not even intraday resistance? What was it? It's yesterday's open. The XY is in a tight range. You can see that it broke out above the resistance there. It's just wicking up here though. So it's having a difficult time finding demand above 106,700. Very, very strange. Looks like the internet that might have fixed it. Verizon, you're upsetting me. 3 minutes left on this hourly close. We'll just watch the 5 minute because we know that we've only got 3 minutes left on the hourly. So this candle, when it closes, that will be the hourly close. And usually about the last 2 minutes before the hour closes out, you'll get a decent move. So we're getting ready to push into there. This is the current hourly swing high that we said the stop would go against if you were to take entry now. It says it's still going. Huh. Is it back? I don't know if the stream is even working. On my end, it looks like it fell off. It's still rolling? Alright. Well, I'm not going to end it then. It died on my end. But if it's still going, we're going with it. We're still watching Bitcoin on this close. This is the price that we're wanting to see a close below to hammer in that short trade. A close above will have us scrapping the short trade. See how you got 1 minute left on the hourly? Get a little bit more volatile there. DXY is back to red on the day. DXY throwed in a bullish engulfing there on the hourly. But it's right back down again. And then ETH doing the same thing. It's at yesterday's open. And you're above this swing high right there. So I would have expected that to basically be the end of it. Maybe it wants to be bullish today. So let's go back and look at what risk is doing. Risk pulling back into support. Intraday support. But it's still support nonetheless. Our downside target on SPX from Tuesday's stream was hit, by the way. So I am out of that trade. Currently looking like it wants to bounce here. Looks like it's going to be a scrapped trade. The wick high from yesterday is up there a little bit higher on Bitcoin. So that's that same wick there on Ethereum. You can see how, once again, Ethereum is leading the way. It has already liquidated that swing high. Whereas Bitcoin has not. All right, now I'm getting the message that I'm done.